Hello, and thank you for tuning in again to Three Takeaways. These are my short book reviews of books that have had an important impact on me in the way I think about how I manage the DeVoe Moore Center, which is a public policy research center at Florida State University in the College of Social Sciences, as well as books that impact the way I teach in the classroom, whether it's my seminar in social entrepreneurship, my research methods class, or any of my urban policy and economic development classes. Today, I'd like to talk about a book called Driven by Difference by David Livermore. This book is really about how we can use diversity to fuel innovation in the workplace. And I think it actually applies to the classroom. I think it applies to almost any organization we can think about. So these are my three takeaways. First of all, I think David Livermore does a great job and provides compelling evidence on the value of diversity in the workplace, but it can't be done haphazardly or without intention. It's not easy, but if you can accomplish it and follow the framework that he provides in the book, you will have success. You'll be able to fuel innovation, you'll be able to fuel creativity, and you'll have great impacts on productivity as a result. But again, it's not an easy thing. You have to have an environment that respects the values of the people that are in the team, their experiences, how their life experiences and life background, as well as their knowledge, can be brought into the discussion in a way that fuels that kind of back and forth and sparking of ideas, and also can be taken to the point where it can translate into real world objectives. And so Livermore really does a great job of establishing and defining what we might call cultural intelligence and the different ways in which cultural intelligence is used to fuel creativity. And he's also practical about it. He recognizes that it has to be done right for it to be done well and for it to work. It's not just about throwing a bunch of people into a room and expecting them to work it out. It actually is something that requires intentional analysis and sensitivity and using the kinds of frames that he talks about that is respectful of those people around the room. The second takeaway for me might seem a little odd because it's really only one chapter in the book, but for me it brought a lot of different things together all at once, and that is the way we use physical space and how that physical space in the office environment or elsewhere can either discourage creativity and innovation or promote it. And while we all need privacy and we all have these times we need to really think through and be creative and have those breakthroughs, if we have a workspace that is very siloed, where we don't have different people bringing different perspectives in to have a conversation or to bounce ideas off, that sort of water cooler type work, then we're not going to get that kind of innovation and creativity we need to really spur productivity and spur new things being done and doing it in different ways. So in fact, I took some things out of that chapter about how I can reorganize the space in the DeVoe Moore Center so that we're really focusing on more co-working spaces as opposed to siloed places where people or my employees or my managers simply go into a particular direction or a certain place. So that was a very practical chapter, and actually it's one of many very practical chapters in the book that's actually dealing with some pretty heavy issues. My third takeaway is really around something that I think is underestimated, and that is the importance of building trust in the workplace. You're not going to get someone with a very different viewpoint weigh in on a discussion or contribute their ideas if they don't feel safe, if they don't feel that they are going to be trusted, their presence, their contribution is going to be honored. And this is something that takes place over time. You can't just wave a magic wand and just go and make it happen. You can't just say, I trust you, but it's actually all of the activity that leads up to the decision making, to the invitation of people to bring those ideas in, honoring those perspectives, that over time builds trust. And once that trust is established, you can then create a very creative workspace. You can fuel innovation, and in fact, you can increase productivity and just really goes to some very, very interesting places. Overall, I've found that Driven by Difference really does connect with me on a very, very important level because I've seen this through my practice over almost 30 years of working in nonprofit management and public policy spaces, where trying to find those breakthroughs is really important. And so I found David Livermore's analysis and the work he's doing on cultural intelligence is really, really relevant to today. So I highly recommend the book. I think it should be on everybody's bookshelf today if you're serious about promoting innovation and creativity. And Driven by Difference by David Livermore, how great companies fuel innovation through diversity.